start the stream but not start the interview right away, because I just want to get the links to get them into the VK groups to tell everyone that the show is going to start. So don't worry.
Alright.
I'll give you a signal when we are going to begin. It's still okay for us to talk, so I want just to say in advance that you probably want to try to be kind of treat the questions trying to not say as much as you can, but trying to do some kind of thought when you're answering, and not interpret it just like an application form. That's the point of the interview I'd like to have. So that's why I gave you the strict script in advance, because there are some difficult questions which you might have.
I already looked up to the question and wrote some ideas on how to respond to them.
Okay, then. Alright, I'm gonna do the message in my group. The link that I provided you with is actually up, so you can. Wait, did I actually? Is the stream actually live?
I'll check.
Doesn't seem like it. Oh, it is. Yeah, I'm live, so you can use the link to post it somewhere in your Discord, probably.
I'm still trying to contact the guy who's supposed to stream it on Twitch.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like he's there, fortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, we might even post this on Reddit, for example. How do I actually say it properly in English? Take an interview with, or?
Yeah, I guess it's with.
Okay, I'm gonna make everyone in my Discord.
Take your time, man. I'm still trying to see the guys there.
Okay, so what amount of time are you going to try to wait for your friend?
I don't know. Maybe is 10 minutes okay?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not really in a hurry, but just the fact that I've already started the stream gives some restrictions.
It's just that I would love to to have the interview on Twitch.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That has a chance of going viral, so I mean, why
Yeah.
not? Let's just see. Let's see who's streaming right now and invite to the room. Yeah, like Rohalk or maybe someone else. Lol. I really liked the joke about Kunan. Ask Kunan to hold the interview.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so actually I might even ask some like preliminary questions which are not the official part of interview. One of the things I'm referring to in my questions, does in your local national French OS community, does Kunan have like authority? Like in the sense that when Kunan, for example, accused you, he did in cheating, did it something did it become something that people mostly agree with based on his authority alone, or not?
Well, I don't think it was because of his authority. Actually, people already thought I was cheating back in, I think, late 2015 for the French Osu community, and since Kinan has quite a big fan base, his ideas were mostly accepted, so he wasn't. He
So
didn't.
that's true.
It wasn't really because of his authority.
Yeah, I
It was just
understand.
because
I
of the
just
the
needed
collective.
to. I just need to make sure that I'm not like doing factual mistakes when asking the questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes. It's all right.
Don't you remember who was the specific player that Keenan wrote that he shouldn't have such skill with such low player count? Was it about Vexay? Did you even see like this?
I don't think I saw Keenan's talk about low play counts, but I've definitely seen him like trying to witch hunt Gaze, I think. Gaze McGee and
Yeah, I mean, Gaze, I remember that too, but his main argument is something like 300 BPM, man, lol.
I think his biggest argument is the key press time.
Yeah, I mean,
which is
it's funny. Sometimes I argue with people on Gaze like having this live play, and well, and people. I am saying that Gaze is probably legit because he managed to prove that kind, and people are saying, "Come on, Fire Digger, you don't understand. Look at this report, at these numbers, key press times." And the joke is that I was the first one. I was the guy who got these numbers. These are my numbers. It's not like I'm unaware of the numbers, but well, even if no one is able to pull off that numbers, why does that mean that this guy is cheating? So there's for every discipline there is someone who is beyond others. Like same with Kukizi. You can't say Kukizi is cheater just because he is ahead of better over anyone else. Okay, we even have Shavit in my chat. I see him.
But like those.
Mic muted. Dance game.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Sorry, my Wi-Fi connection is is absolutely garbage.
Okay,
so I was saying that once the witch hunters have the idea of someone cheating, they don't really want to let this idea, you know.
Yeah, that's true.
Like they really don't want to, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's like a wrong form of the question. The question that witch hunters possess should be not how to prove this guy's cheating, but is he really cheating? I see that most mistakes done by witch hunters is that they don't really give a way for a person to fully justify himself.
Yeah.
And any kind of evidence they find could be interpreted as evidence towards the player being unlegit. So
yeah, that's true, actually.
I think we're about to start though, aren't we?
Sorry, what?
I mean, I think we should kind of be getting to the interview at the moment. So you if you want, you can. You would need to reference everyone to the stream where we are currently. Oh wait, he just came. He just come. So.
Sorry, I don't know what's up with my Wi-Fi connection, but it's.
He's here, so.
Yeah, he's here. Nice.
To
yeah.
quickly set this whole thing up.
Yeah.
And after that, we shall begin.
A second.
Okay, so in the meantime, I'm gonna do a little introduction to chat. What is going to be happening right now is I'm going to take interview with filsdelama about how he was accused of cheating, how he was restricted for 3 weeks, and different questions related to that. So we haven't started yet. filsdelama wants to ask his friend to set up this same interview live stream on Twitch, because frankly Twitch is a more popular and in some sense more convenient place for that. So we having a bit of delay for that, but after that you are actually free to choose whether you want to spam kappas in Twitch chat or stay here. The main reason between our streams is going to be that I have a webcam. Здорово, братва. Как житуха?
There we go.
Okay. Okay.
Yo.
Okay, I'll mute me and
All right.
Okay.
Well, you'll need to give us a signal when we can actually begin the thing, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to do this by chat, I guess.
Okay, so Dinazap is going to signal you, filsdelama, then you do the everyone in the Discord to go to Twitch.
All right.
We give a minute for people to actually get there, and I guess then we will begin with the official program. All right?
Right.
Okay, here's the link, so probably that means that he's ready, right?
Yeah, probably. I'm gonna do that to everyone.
I'm going to copy this link into my chat. So... Вот, ребят, если хотите, можете это то же самое смотреть на Твиче. So... let's make sure that the sound is alright. So... Hey chat, if something is wrong with the stream, I'd ask you to indicate that. Maybe I need to make feels quieter or louder. Firedigger interviews me on my restriction. Come watch. Oh,
it looks okay, I guess.
Yeah, it reminds me of the national alerts when you put into YouTube link and it says come watch, because there is no come.
Yeah.
It sounds funny. Okay, so hopefully we're ready to go. All right.
Yep, I am.
Okay, so starting with the official scenario. Hi everyone, my name is Firedigger, and here with me today is filsdelama, who is currently the best French player and currently sixth ranked player in the world in OSU. So Fils, how is it going?
I'm fine. I'm doing fine, thanks. So yeah, you pretty much described my OSU career right there.
Yeah, we'll get more detail into your career. This is not going. Yeah. I'd like to say this is not going to be a regular interview where I'm going to ask how filsdelama got into OSU, what he likes to play, his favorite genre, mappers, or does he has a girlfriend. But today's topic is something that I called talent not allowed. And to explain what I mean, I'd like to give a brief introduction. The thing is, some time ago, there were several cases of top-tier players busted as cheaters when people believed they were legit and really good, and people were really disappointed. And not only this, but later people have become more skeptical towards new rising talents on ladder, and it is common for just really good new players to be accused of cheating based solely on the fact that they are improving fastly. And when I say fastly, I mean faster than other players used to. You can see on also reports Reddit's reports on Axarias, Rahulk, filsdelama, Vexa, and others, including legit players and banned players, but still such accusations obviously meet the fans of the players, and there are huge debates which are often something we see on Reddit, and the whole situation looks a bit depressive. And today, I decided to invite filsdelama to this interview and to bring up these topics for the reason that not only filsdelama is a really good player who improved fastly, significantly, but he also was even restricted, not only accused of cheating by everyone, nearly, not everyone of course, by a huge portion of OSU community. So before we begin, filsdelama, with the main questions, I would like to ask you to say that seriously in front of all the people, are you a full legit player, which basically means that all of your online plays were in fact legit, not cheating and not performed by someone else?
Well, I am as legit as you can be.
That seems good. I'll take that at a yes. Okay, so I actually should open the presentation with the questions I have. So the first question comes in: do you remember the moment when you first were noticed in OSU community, your place? Maybe you remember a first really impressive score, which was impressive for everyone.
If I remember correctly, it's when I started doing my AR11 scores, which is around November 2015. It's when my skill suddenly spiked. So I had a lot of accusations at that time because I kind of came out of nowhere. So I kind of got in the spotlight of the community, you know.
Do you remember how many players there were at the time who could actually pull off impressive 11 scores? So as I remember, the first one to do that was Emperor Penguin, if I'm correct.
Yep. Yeah.
Do you remember anyone else who is really good at Era 11? There's obviously Rafis, but did Rafis start to do that before you or after you?
I think he already did a few AR11 scores, but they were not like the major ones. But yeah, the main AR11 known player was Emperor Penguin. So at that time, I was like the only one. one of the only one who could do this.
So yeah, you actually were, after Emperor Penguin WoW, were one of the like first and main AR11 level
pretty much
AR11 farmers. Okay, that's pretty impressive. So the next question obviously moves us to accusations. Did you notice a huge wave of accusation in cheating immediately, or it happened only together with donating for the monitor event, which you can go in detail about if you wish? Because probably not everyone in the chat actually knows about the incident.
Should I talk about it or just get to my point?
If you want, you can do that. If not, you can just answer the question.
So yeah, before answering your question, I would like to take this opportunity to publicly apologize for this whole monitor story, even if it has been like half a year since it took place. My point is, I don't want it to be forgotten. I want it to be forgiven. So, to every person that ever donated on my stream, or simply to my regular viewers, my OSU friends, or even to people that hate me to this day for it, I really am sorry, sincerely. But to return to your question, I would say it happened progressively. Like the first accusations wave started just after my AR11 scores that I've set at the end of 2015. But people really started witch hunting me in March 2016. Then there were a few OSU report threads who got posted, which I didn't really pay attention to at first. But then there was Movie World's thread, and I think it's this thread that really put the nail in the coffin. But I never really thought I was going to get restricted for it just because of suspicion. But well, I guess I was wrong about that.
You're always running a bit too far. We have like the restriction case and stuff in the following question. So still, we're not even talking about restriction here. The next question is, what was your reaction to being regarded as a cheater by those people? Were you proud, depressed, or confused in this case? Did you try to react to the accusation by arguing your legitimacy, or you just ignored them with irony?
At first I took it as a compliment, of course. Like, you're 100% legit, yet a large group of people say you aren't, so it can really inflate your ego. But then this group get larger and larger until the whole community start getting suspicious. So I thought arguing my legitimacy at this point was really lost cause, because they would always find something else to say,
Were you thinking about making, for example, a live play before getting restricted?
I thought about it, but since I didn't really think I would get restricted for it, I kind of forgot this idea.
Okay, so you were kind of confident with also Supper being honest in this case.
Yep.
Am I correct? Okay, I think that's a really valid position for the case. So, and here I have another additional question. What about your own nation? What there, like, for example, I'm judging by Russia. There is a huge difference from how a Russian player who is suspicious is regarded in Russia and outside of Russia, like internationally. Was there some kind of difference between how French fans thought about you and internationally?
I would say French fans were more I wouldn't say kind, but more comprehensive to me, because they kind of accepted the idea of me being legit. But I don't really know if there's really a difference between France and outside of France,
Okay, fair. So still, would you say like generally people like there were more people who shouted that you're cheater than who shouted that you were legit before the restriction?
Yeah. Yep.
So, okay, that's actually pretty depressive, isn't it? Probably was pretty depressive for you.
And also, if anyone like doubts a thing I say, everything can be found on Reddit. I mean, all the comments saying like you aren't legit, etc. Everything can be found on Reddit. So I mean, it's concrete evidence that I was kind of witch hunted.
Yeah, I mean, there's topics on Reddit. It's actually, in fact, the first top-rated topic of the year on also report Reddit, which is pretty funny. And there is like no reason for you to lie since you are already unrestricted and kind of believed to be legit because time has passed. But now, well, we are heading on to the restriction. Please now dedicate some time to telling us about when you were restricted, when and how did you find out about it, how did you feel, etc. What actions did you decide to perform? Let me finish the question, please. I just want
sorry.
I just want to read the whole slide so that.
Okay, alright, sorry.
What actions did you decide to perform in order to bring justice to the case? For example, like mentioning the live play that you posted on Reddit. Did you contact support or Pepe, and did you get an answer? So now please have your full talk on that.
Yeah, I actually remember my restriction clearly. I had just returned from school and I opened Osu and I chilled on it for a couple of minutes. And suddenly I got a message from BouncerBot saying your account is currently in restricted mode. And to be completely honest with you, I thought it was a joke at first. That someone like renamed himself a name close to BouncerBot, like a BouncerBot with a zero instead of an O, you know, and decided to send me this message just to fuck with me. But I was wrong; it was an actual restriction. So yeah, I was kind of lost there, and I created a Reddit thread, which still exists to this day, in order to get actual info on the subject as to why I was restricted. Back there, I actually thought it was because I broke the OSU rules for some reason, but people were quick to tell me that it was because of my suspicious plays. So yeah, after that, I contacted the OSU staff with a well-written and structured email saying that basically either they had made a mistake or it was a staff member that thought I was cheating, in which case I would happily post a live play. But I never got a response from their end, so I decided to just record and post the live play to YouTube. And I also sent it to them, but I still didn't get an answer.
Okay, so yeah, I want to get this straight. You emailed support after getting restricted, asking why were restricted, or like
I did,
and you didn't get an answer.
Nope, I didn't.
So at all. That's actually really weird, because even though like Pepe confesses that also support is not quick on answers, but he says that everyone except for the people who are just deliberately spamming also stuff with stupid messages gets an answer in 24 hours or 48 or something, and you didn't. Well, that's actually not really great from also support side, I think. So okay, I think we can discuss more about the restriction by going to the next question. So after several days or maybe weeks, you have probably thought that you were restricted permanently, didn't you? So how did you feel about that? Did you have thoughts of quitting also based on that entirely?
Yep, I did think this restriction would never be over. Actually, now that I think about it, my big brother really made things worse for me at that time. Like, he kept saying things like, you should quit OSU or you'll never be unrestricted, stop checking OSU subreddit. So yeah, I definitely thought about quitting this game, but that would mean the staff won, and I didn't want that. I wanted justice to be done, and I kept fighting to get it. So maybe by sending them 2 additional emails, to which they still didn't respond actually, or just by like informing people that weren't really sure about what was happening. So yeah.
That's actually pretty admirable. I remember, for example, I also was your fan after your AR11 scores, because at that time AR11 I thought that was really cool, and I really liked impressive Emperor Penguin scores too. And then I saw that you were restricted, and I at first thought, well, it's a pity that filsdelama wasn't actually legit. But then I saw your live stream, and it had a title of restricted for being good. And
yeah,
I noticed your attitude, and then I understood that you were totally not agreeing with the fact that you were restricted, and well, luckily you were actually unrestricted, but we'll get to that soon. What about your biggest fans at the time, like your closest friend, for example? Did they still believe you after you got restricted, or just what was their reaction on that?
Yeah, if by biggest fans you mean my closest also friend, of course they were
Yeah,
100% sure I was legit from the beginning. But concerning my other fans, some of them were really just sad to see one of the favorite players turn out to be apparently a cheater, and some decided to just get mad and insult me for being uh, I code dumb for having supposedly cheated. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of different reaction from this.
So I have another question. For example, in France, in maybe your town, did you have any kind of uh, real life also meetup parties or something like
Um,
that? Did you meet
I
any also people in person?
I actually live in a pretty lost city in France, so I didn't. I never actually saw someone who plays Osu in real life.
Mm-hmm.
So
So.
I mean, I could have gone to land in Paris or in another country,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not like I didn't think it was worth it just for a circle clicking game. You know, like
Yeah, I
when
understand.
you know you're legit, I wouldn't see the
Well,
point.
it's not like I wanted you to go to a LAN party to prove that you were legit, but just imagine a situation where you went to a LAN just for funs,
Yeah.
just for lols, and then you got restricted, and then that people who were at the LAN could have probably said that you were indeed legit because they saw you playing. But, well,
Yeah.
this is not the
Unfortunately,
case. Mhm.
I never had the chance to go to LAN.
Okay, so a more broad question. How would you generally comment on also support behavior in this case? Do you have an idea of what were they thinking about when they were restricting you?
I would say I was actually very disappointed by the Usu support decision to just restrict me like that, only because of the community suspicions. That plus the fact that they seem to completely ignore my emails. One hell of a way to dodge the problem, I guess. But they themselves, maybe they themselves didn't really know what to do, so they just did the thing that satisfied the majority, which is the community, and simply decided to restrict me. I guess
Well,
so.
fortunately, we kind of do know, at least from Pepe's words, that you were not going to be perma restricted. You were restricted for a temporary amount of time in order to check you. However, that sounds a bit weird, and I'm sure Pepe sometimes doesn't tell the full truth, so not really sure, but yeah, I agree with you. I think that also support behavior is fairly disappointed in this case, just like it was, for example, with Azerid. So,
Yeah.
in addition, is there any important also related events that happened during the restriction period that you would like to bring up before we go to unrestriction stuff?
I can't think of anything right now, so I'd say no.
Okay, so let's go straight to the next. Now let's transfer to brighter times, and please tell us a bit about how you got unrestricted by answering the same questions as before. When and how did you find about it? How did you feel? And another question is, did you actually expect to get it banned at all at this point?
I got unrestricted the 1st of June 2016. Um, it was a Wednesday, I'm sure about that. And at first, I didn't know I was unrestricted. I opened up Google and saw I had a lot of notification, like more than usual. And I noticed a lot of people were saying GG, so I didn't really know what it was for. So I opened Osu subreddit, and at the top of the page was the thread filsdelama and restricted. So yeah, this time too, I actually thought it was a joke because during my restriction,
Mm-hmm.
people will post fake like unrestriction thread. So I needed
Yeah.
to double check, but my account was in fact unrestricted.
So, how did you feel?
Um, what I felt was, I'd say, a mixture of happiness and great relief. Like it's always good to have your legitimacy.
Did you, for
Well,
example, contact some people who maybe your close friends who were disappointed with you and thought you to be a cheater after you were restricted? Did you PM them saying that now you can actually see that I'm legit, or something like that?
Well, the thing is, none of my close Osu friends thought I was unlegit, so I didn't have to do that.
They didn't even question it, even though you were restricted.
No.
So, well, I
Because
guess those are good friends in that case.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
nice
they
to
are.
hear. Okay, so next question is, could you tell us what kind of impression your unrestriction made on the interested part of OSO community as you remember it? For example, what kind of attitude and mood was under the post where it was said that you were unrestricted? Do you remember it?
From what I can remember, after the unrestriction, some would say I paid Pepe to be unrestricted. And also, I remember saying like a false positive always takes less than a week to get resolved. So he didn't really believe me. So yeah, they just didn't want to admit they were wrong all this time. But yeah, that's just the minority, of course. Most of people I talked to at that time were just really excited to see me come back and turn out to be legit.
Oh, that's actually great. Like, do you remember? You probably do you remember your first stream after getting unrestricted? Did you get a lot of
I remember.
viewers or something?
I remember getting more than usual. I wouldn't say a lot, but yeah, definitely more than usual. Yeah. I also remember not having a cam because my cable was too short, so people will say, "Oh, he doesn't have a cam. He must be cheating."
Yeah,
So,
cheating again. Turned on the cam
Yeah.
to be cheating again. Okay,
Yeah.
so next question is: did the amount of hate significantly change after this series of events as you remember it? So after getting unrestricted,
Not really, actually.
So
Not really, actually.
before that, you said that most of largest portion of also like active also people thought that you were cheating. Did they still believe you were cheating after you were unrestricted?
I would say the majority of them just kind of accepted the idea of me being legit, but like some people that couldn't base their arguments about me being restricted anymore, they had to find another way to prove their points, so they just started making assumptions, like pointing out my often seen as bad attitude, etc. So yeah.
So here I want to also mention like the OS report thread, and I want to
Yeah.
ask the question. So I remember that Smoothie World was the person. Is that like the real Smoothie World? Am I correct? That wrote the report on you.
Yep, it is.
Did he contact you, apologize, or do something like that after you were unrestricted, or in some time after that happened?
No, but I remember him talking to his friends about me indirectly. So,
And
but
what?
he didn't contact me face to face.
Okay, but if you heard, like, if you know what he was talking, how he was talking about you with friends, would you like to tell us what was his opinion after you were unrestricted? Because quoting his report, he says that literally that I think that this guy is going too blatant. I think that was something like that. I remember specifically the word blatant because I really love
Yeah.
the word blatant in reports on legit people. So did he actually?
Yeah. From what I can remember, he told people that he did it. Like the fact that that I had a bad attitude really made him do it. Like it wasn't even my place. It was just the fact that he didn't like me.
I think that's pretty dumb, though. That's
Yeah.
because when you involve personal emotions in witch hunting, that's not really a good idea. That creates a lot of bias that I'm totally against.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think before we go to more philosophical questions, you might, if you have the option, you might want to grab a couple of questions from the chat. If there's something that people want to get a bit more information from you before we go to philosophical questions, so I'm going to look into my chat as well, and if you see something worthy, you can just read read the question and answer it.
All right. Doesn't seem to be any question on the Twitch chat.
Well, I mean, people have only just seen the slide which says chat questions, so we should probably give them some time and let's like have a small break with 2 minutes of casual talk, maybe.
All right.
Actually, I want to. Maybe I would also like to get a look at Twitch chat. Oh, that's actually a really hard link there. Oh, I have it in my clipboard. To get a look at. So, well, in case no one is interested in asking more questions, I do have the official scenarios, so. Could you give an advice for novice also players? No, we are not going to discuss that, sorry. Okay, I guess in that case we'll just lead on to other questions, okay? Is that alright with you?
Alright, yeah.
Ready? Okay, so now the questions are going to get gradually harder, honestly. So the first question and discussion that I would like to have with you is, ironically enough, just yesterday, a famous Korean DT player, Silver Rain, not sure if you heard about him, but he is like top 100 world.
Yeah, I heard.
Announced that he was quitting OSU due to reports on him and how he was accused. He even said something like, I'm not going to return into OSU until I'm proven to be legit, well, whatever that means. How would you comment on such behavior? What advice would you give him as a player who faced the same kind of attitude or even worse? So that's the question.
To be honest, I completely understand his decision. The reason I didn't quit myself when I was witch hunted was because I didn't want to let the staff win. I was legit and I wanted to prove it. So yeah, but some people either they don't care enough about OSU or they simply don't have the mental force to endure such treatment, ending up in them quitting. And I think that's really sad. I can't really get any advice to a player in this situation, but it's either like you want to be unrestricted enough to keep fighting for it, or you think quitting the game will simply erase the problem altogether.
Well, I mean, the difference in your cases, which there is that you were restricted while he is not restricted. Do you see yourself quitting just based on accusation and not actually get restricted at all?
I don't think so. I will probably like stick to people I like, such as my friends, my closest also friends, and just ignore the collective opinion altogether.
So still, do you think that it is like reasonable that you understand people who are willing to quit also without being restricted, just based on the fact that they are suspicious and are accused a lot?
Yeah, I completely understand. It's comprehensible.
Yeah, kinda. Even though, like, my personal opinion on that is, well, in this case, speaking frankly, I'd advise taking like the having the balls, or not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but well, honestly speaking, even though if there are a lot of people who are accusing you of cheating, you probably still have friends who are 100% sure in your legitness, and they probably want you to play further and to rank up and to have impressive scores. So don't you think that quitting the game because of the haters is a bit of betrayal towards your real fan base? That's my question.
That's a difficult question, actually. I would say that it depends on the connection you have with your fans. Like, if you interact with them a lot, yeah, they would definitely be sad to see you go. But I mean, if you were kind of if you're kind of away from all this, all the community and all this, I wouldn't see how it is a problem to just quit the game because of suspicion.
Okay, I understand your opinion. So let's go to the next question. Oh, this one is like, I think, the largest question. Oh, no, not really. The largest with the one about medicine. So, the most common technique on proving one's legitimacy today is considered to be live play of high quality. For example, the one performed by Rohalk. It has become a standard of some sort for the live plays. In fewer cases, it is actually possible to invite the player to LAN, like it happened in Spare's case. Do you personally believe that this kind of proof is sufficient to state that your scores are indeed legit? Do you think that also supports should take into account such activity, implying they do not actually do that at the moment? Because I believe they only pay attention to your suspicious process. That's like from my feelings. So would you please have a discussion on this topic?
Live plays as well as plays that are done on LAN are clearly the best option to prove your actual skill, but in fact they will always be this zone of darkness. Like, did he cheat this particular play or this one? See, like going to LAN unfortunately can't prove that each and every one of your previous plays are legit. It's simply possible to do that, and people have to understand that. But it's still the best choice as it gives others an, I would say, an overall view of what you're capable of, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, but so more specifically to the question, do you think that also support should take into account like plays, for example, imagine if you like were not unrestricted, all right, and
Yeah.
in that case you are sure that you are legit, like just like Azerit was sure he was legit, but also support told you that, well, they didn't tell you anything, but they told him that he was accused of cheating, that he was cheating. Do you think that in that case support should give person an option to defend himself by doing something like a live play, or not at all?
Well, I mean, it's the most obvious choice, like to give him a chance to prove he is legit if he in fact is. But from what I've seen so far, the Yosu staff doesn't really mind about live plays that are being posted in order to prove one's legitimacy.
But at the same time, you're saying that even if you manage to like repeat your play on a live play, like for example your impressive score, it doesn't necessarily mean that all of your other scores weren't cheated. So
Yeah.
how do you actually combine these two facts, that also support should try to let players defend themselves using live play, and the fact that live play doesn't really allow you to prove legitimacy 100%? How would you combine them?
Well, as there is no way to prove like one of your previous score is in fact legit, I would say it will need to be like accepted that it is in fact legit if you say it is. There's really no way to prove that it is legit, even if you redo it later in the LAN or in the live play.
I mean, speaking more specifically, for example, let's imagine you are working as also support member and you see
Yeah.
some kind of suspicious process. I don't know how they do that, but for example, you have some kind of black box evidence that this player is cheating, but then he is able to give you a high quality live play of the same score. Would you think about unrestricting the player based on this live play or not? Or you would still keep him banned because, well, the fact that he made a live play on this score doesn't mean that it wasn't cheated because your black box says it was?
Well, I would definitely take into consideration the idea of unrestricted him based
Okay.
on the live play.
Okay, that's a specific answer. Thanks. So I guess we can now go to the next discussion. Yeah, this is one is the longest. This is a really interesting one in my opinion. I, in fact, do have several friends who were restricted for cheating, and they even had received answers from also support where it is written that you are restricted for cheating, you should wait 6 months and blah blah blah. But those friends are 100% confident that they didn't break any rules at all, not only cheating but at all. And usually I would tell them that this doesn't work like that, that also support only restricts you based on some real evidence. However, the frequency of some of such events looks scary, and we do have real evidences like it happened with you and Azerid, and unfortunately only once Mazarin, with his enormous authority, managed to literally revive Azerid from unban, and for doing the same for a no-name player is obviously infeasible. So how would you comment on the system in this case? Do you see any way that could improve the situation, or maybe you think that support indeed doesn't restrict without reason? That's actually funny.
Well, I'll say that unfortunately perfect justice doesn't always exist, and that there will always be a few mistakes. But yeah, you're right. The occurrence of such mistakes in the OSO community is rather scary. It's as if in the case of a false restriction like mine, you either like know the right people to get unrestricted faster, or you end up sending emails to non-responding staff, and in the constant fear, I might say, that you may never be unrestricted after all. So yeah, there's no doubt that the OSU support system is broken deep inside.
So I also want to stress for the viewers here that you have heard about several cases of players being restricted and unrestricted. Well, they were believed to be cheaters and were restricted and then unrestricted. Imagine how many more players there could be obviously still restricted while being legit, and famous ones. And now, like, spread this to how many more no-name, unknown players could be suffering in restrict while being legit, because they do not have a good friend Mazarin who has enormous authority in the community. So that's really a bit of a thought
sad
for everyone who is watching right now, because I feel like I'm some in Russian communities, people when like those people who were restricted while assuming while thinking that they were 100% legit, they PM me and they say that they have this problem, and they ask me, do I have any kind of connections, like relations with the OSO staff to examine their restriction to do something, and I have to tell them that I'm sorry, but I have no levelers to actually get any more information or help the situation in any case. So this is truly depressive in this case. Okay, so let's move to the next question, and I think that one is really interesting as well. Do you have your own thoughts on some popular player being suspicious, or maybe even like unlegit? For example, I have a few examples here. What about Reviclia, GazeMacG, or Spare? Do you generally believe that OSO support is doing a good job of keeping at least the top of the ladder full legit? Or what about your own nation, France specifically?
As for the three players you just mentioned, I believe in fact that they are legit. I don't have any example of a player I personally find suspicious in mind at the moment, but there are some. Nevertheless, it's not because I find them suspicious that I'm going to stop witch hunting them. See, I know what it feels like to be wrongly accusated after my restriction, all this, and I don't want to anyone else to feel this because of me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, makes sense. I mean, this is a really fair position. So, but more specifically, do you believe that OSO support is doing a good job of keeping the ladder full legit or not? For example, how would you assess the times that a player is busted between the time that player is busted on OSO report and he's banned? So how would you overall assess the quality of like legit check that is performed by OSO support?
Well, I mean, they should definitely not grant any additional chance to like obvious cases in the top 50 leaderboard, but are they doing a good job at it? I don't really know. As for they have a lot of bad history with false restriction and all this, so
That's true.
yeah, it really shows.
For example, so did you actually say that you think that there are a couple of suspicious players in top 50, but you just don't remember them exactly? Am I correct? Or that's not
Yep.
what you meant? So,
No, I think some of them are pretty suspicious. Definitely.
Okay, but still, you are obviously not going to call them.
Yeah, of course.
Accuse them because you didn't really study the case. Okay,
Yep.
that's fair. So let's go to the next question. Yeah, this is one. God damn, all of the questions are interesting for me. I really like them. What about so-called witch hunters? People who are specifically trying to spot unlegit behavior by other players. What's your attitude to that kind of activity? Do you think that also community needs them at all or not? And any advice you would give to them, maybe? So, well, if
Oops, sorry, my
okay, you're back.
Could you repeat the question, please?
The question is concerning witch hunters. What's your attitude? Do you think also community needs them, or any advice that you would like to give them? And well, unfortunately, Wi-Fi is a bit down at the moment. So we'll have just to wait until Phil's internet connection gets resolved.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, I keep disconnecting.
Okay, so did you mention
your
question?
I heard the question. Yeah. So yeah, often also players are often in contact with numbers that are important to the community, such as the PP, the score, the top 50 leaderboards, etc. So yeah, they get attached to these numbers, and when they see someone, for example, with a low play count that is high ranked, it can create a weird feeling that will later become suspicion. And I know this isn't going to change the overall behavior of the community regarding suspicious players, but keep in mind that there are exceptions and that there's a limit between what's conceivable and what's impossible. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a prodigy, but I definitely see why people would suspect me. So I kind of forgive them about that. It's just that their reaction wasn't the best one.
So still, could you please specifically answer the questions concerning what's your attitude to that kind of activity, and do you think also community needs witch hunters, or maybe they should treat also as a single player game and don't care about other players at all?
I don't think the community really needs witch hunters, but they definitely need like people who pay attention to the activity of suspicious players.
So okay, I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I have anything more to add here, so your position is quite understandable. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Oh, this one is concerning Kunan as well. Have you noticed a trend that there... Oh, that's actually a bit more technical question, which is really nice to have you here, because you are like the one of semi-prodigies. Have you noticed a trend that there has been a lot more players rising to the top a lot quicker than it used to be? So today certain players are proving a lot faster that it was possible before, like a year ago or 2 years ago. For example, it's also about Kunan arguing that with such low play count a legit player couldn't possibly be that good. What is your opinion on that, and why do you think this is happening at all?
Well, to answer the first question, I definitely think the global skill of the community rises as years go by. Like if you take, for example, Vaxei, who rose to the top recently, he definitely proved that it was possible to do that. But yeah, I feel like nowadays there are a lot of like prodigies in the community, and unfortunately they often get like associated with the cheaters. So I think that's sad.
So as a player who is really skilled at the game and was also became like really good at not that large amount of time, could you think and give us a hint, why do you think this is happening at all? Why people today have an ability to improve a lot faster, like exponentially faster than it was several years ago?
I would say it is because like they see other people get better and they like kind of follow them. You know, like when you when you're around good players, you want to become like one of them. You know, so you do everything in your power to rise to the top. So maybe that I think that's why we see so many good players lately.
So, do you think it has to do more with motivation or uh, taking advice from better players?
I would say it is yeah motivation. That plus the like the for example the practice training that gets better, or simply the like the general mapping in the OSU community.
So,
Yep.
actually, speaking about mapping, one of
Yeah.
the opinions that, for example, I talked with Talala about this, who is 20th player in the world, Russian top 2, and he said that his opinion was because of how many maps, different maps that test your challenge your skill today, that's why people playing various maps, they are able to improve a lot faster. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, definitely is the case. Yeah, like if you take into consideration Vaxay once again, he not only is very good at reading high AR, but he also is very good at easy mode. So it definitely shows how well how like polyvalent can you be at the game.
Did I don't remember exactly, but was he the player who did a pass, easy FL pass on Big Black, or something?
I think he did once. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive score. That's certainly another kind of skill compared to what he usually does. For
Yeah.
example, as an AR11 player, as we're like speaking about Vexy here, you know that he had a pass on Airman with
Yeah.
DT, and I would like to ask you, as a AR11 player and person who has good aim, how difficult would you say this play to pull off? How really impressive that score is from your standpoint?
Um. Well, if you're talking about the Airman hidden hidden hard rock DT score, I would definitely think it's more like a speed challenging map more than a reading map. Uh, well, for me at least, because I played the map so many times, I almost know it by heart by now. So it's just the Daxay speed that allowed him to do this incredible pass.
I mean, uh, just like giving a brief adjective to that, do you think that this play is like one of the craziest passes of all times, or that it just requires speed and not that impressive for someone as good as Vexy, for example?
I would say it definitely is hard to pass because of a few patterns, but other than that, it's really much speed based and not really reading based or any other skill aspect.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it. So let's go to the next question. I guess we're arriving to a couple of last questions. This one is, what message would you give to OSU community who are passionate enough about competitive OSU and participate in those debates that I was talking about earlier about players' legitimacy? What kind of attitude would you advise them when to have when another young talent like Baxi goes from top 300 to top 3 in a month? Do you think people shouldn't care about cheaters at all? For example, some people argue that OSU should be essentially a single player game in that context. Do you agree with that? So, yeah.
I feel like yeah, wanting to help the community is a very good cause indeed, but you need to make sure to draw the line between helping it and like doing the contrary, which is destroying it from the inside. Let me explain. Being an active OSU report member doesn't necessarily make you a witch hunter or a bad guy, but you really have to use critical thinking in this types of subreddit.
Yeah, well,
As I said earlier, yeah, sorry.
I wanted to stress that I'm here not talking about people who are like doing the reports and stuff. For example, let's talk about the majority of people who are not actually or even reading also report. And for example, they see someone rising to the top really fast. And I want to tell you my story of that. The reason why I actually started to not like cheaters very much, the main reason for that is I used to be hyped about people improving fastly, about crazy scores they set, and when you understand that the crazy score that was set by a certain player was cheated, you are really, really disappointed, and that's why you don't really want to fully trust that guy next time, another guy, and be disappointed also. Could you comment on that and tell an advice to people who are not actually doing witch hunting but just see these impressive scores which are sometimes unbelievable, just like for example like says airman DT pass, because that's something a lot of people still do not believe.
Well, I would say that even if you don't really know if a player is cheated, you can still like enjoy watching it or just enjoy the player. I feel like a lot of people don't realize that Osu is one of a few online games in which cheaters don't affect you directly. So Osu has a very social aspect to it, and I think it is a shame that people start eating on each other just because of assumptions like that.
So, am I getting you correct? You want to advise the players looking at the like watching the scores, but be generally more chill about accusing others, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think that some people should be really calm, even if they are just fanboying for the guy, or maybe if they are accusing someone of cheating. This is actually like there is a meme when there are like Cookies' fanboys and Rafi's fanboys, and they debate who is better, and they should really probably be a bit chill in that case. So next question is, it's no surprise that people have actually been losing trust for also support for quite some time now, especially since your case, since Azerid's case, since Spare's paying for unban meme. Why do well, I guess it's obvious why do you think that happens, but do you think it is a valid reason to lose your trust for also support, and what would you recommend for also support to change in the system to maybe resurrect its reputation and improve also support community interaction? So a general question, saying what do you have any idea of what also support should significantly change right now to try to address the issues that we proposed earlier today?
Well, I definitely think like equality concerning the OSU support can and definitely should exist. But in order for the OSU staff to regain the trust of the community they lost through the multiple cases of like obvious special treatments, such as the one you just mentioned, I think it would be a great thing if their like intercession was more easily solicited. By that I mean it would be better for a community to like if they could interact with the staff without having to like wait 2 weeks to get an email response back. I don't know, maybe creating a staff ARC chat. I don't know. So I believe a lot of problems can be solved simply by like good communication. So we should definitely look up to that.
That actually brings us to two kind of questions. Firstly, I believe that also support takes some time to answer and stuff because there's not really many also staff members. And the reason of that, I'm not sure if it's money, but maybe because just Pepe wants only really his close people who he trusts to manage the things. So one of advice you would give to him is hire more people in that case, right?
Yeah.
And
I guess so.
the second thing, which is a bit more controversial, so even if you like either when you are a legit player or when you are a cheater, if you are restricted and you ask support what's happening, they will tell you you are a cheater, all right? And then they do not actually provide any more information on which play is cheated or what kind of program you were believed to be using. Do you think that's correct? Do you think that keeping all the information internal about how they detect and what they detect is a reasonable action by also support, or you think that they should reveal something so that the debates could be like so you could, for example, understand when you are legit, you could understand what actually triggered your restriction. So this kind of question.
I definitely don't agree with this behavior of the OSU staff. Like they often respond with passive aggressive answers, they don't provide any information on your case, and when you are falsely restricted like I was, it can create a frustration feeling. Yeah.
But still, do you think that they should be revealing this information? Because there's obviously a drawback of that. If you reveal too much information, guys like AQN are going to exploit it and improve their cheats or something, and you are going to suffer more in the future. Well, talking from also support's positions. So could you please try to think of a specific answer, yes or no, to this problem? Reveal more information or not, assuming there are advantages and disadvantages to that thesis.
I would definitely say it's a hard question because no matter what the answer is, there is always the counterpart of it. But I think it's for the best if they could release a little bit of info on your case when you ask for it.
Okay, so your answer is generally yes. You would recommend if you were to control also support, you would try to.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I understand. So next question is really close to that one. What do you think about Pepe's position in this case? He obviously trusts his own team in also support. Sometimes people who can't reach also support email Pepe, and Pepe says that this is not my duty, you should refer to also support. Do you think that he, as the head of the company, also entertainment or something, even though he doesn't like the name company here, do you think he should take the situation under his own control already, after people are losing trust from also support?
Yeah, I see. I've heard Pepe tends to stay away from the community's claims, to focus on his own work, and I don't really blame him for that. But I think that if he got a little more involved in the OSU support, serious reports will be more easily separated from the proofless / useless accusations, which will definitely speed up the cleaning process. So yeah, I guess we'll have to see how he decide to use his big influence upon his game.
Well, at the moment he's probably busy with building also laser, but for hopefully we might. Well, I really hope that we will see some kind of improvement on the system after also laser is released this year, hopefully, because if the problems that we have discussed today with the real problems with the system of also support are going to stay, the situation is going to get really worse, I believe, because every banned legit player is a serious issue for the community, I believe. So, okay, next question is, that's also really interesting. What is your opinion on players who intentionally cheat in order to get banned, for example, to quit the game, like Cookies did? Furthermore, some of the players, and you also understand that some of those players do actually file an appeal after 6 months or more. Do you think they could ever be trusted and let into the community again, assuming how easily they threw their reputation away? That's my question.
Well, For the as for the act to get banned, so I don't play anymore mentality, I find it rather absurd. Because if you really wanted to quit this game, as you say you want to, you wouldn't need to force yourself to do it by cheating. So it just shows that you are mentally too weak in order to quit by yourself. Cheating to get banned will probably fuck up your reputation forever, and also create useless drama. So yeah, don't cry about it if you ever come back on this game. So yeah, in short, I wouldn't recommend it.
So what about actually accepting appeals from those players? Imagine again
Oh,
if you were also support, how would you treat those people trying to return into the community?
I That's a hard question actually.
Mm-hmm.
I would say it depends on the cases. Like if the person really looks like he he learned something from his past experience, I would definitely allow him
Well,
a second chance.
how do you judge that? Well, for example, we have a couple of cases. We do have
Right.
Cookies' case, which has been already resolved, and for example, we have the case that hasn't been resolved yet. Nico, do you know a Polish player named Nico?
Yep.
So he's currently in the process of appealing.
Right.
And did you see like interview with him or something along those lines?
No, I don't really check that
Okay, but still,
actually.
like, if you can choose an option here, like, if you want to be more specific, could you remember any player that did intentionally cheat to get banned and tried to
Uh,
appeal and say what you think on her case?
well, I the only thing I know is that he AR cheated his Atamai no Aitsu, his
Yeah,
score on
I'm not talking
yeah.
about Nico's particular
But
case. So
oh, okay.
so
Oh, I see.
I want you to choose any player you want who was
All
in this
right.
kind of scenario, and if
Oh,
you know enough about him, tell your attitude if you were also support to this particular case. So maybe you know most about Cookies because well,
yeah.
probably everyone
Well,
in this community
I don't
knows
think
him.
I don't think Okuzi is a good example of that because uh, I don't think he really regretted his decision. Like he came back on this game and he got unrestricted. Like he got unbanned because he is Kokizi. You know, like it's not really the fact that he was sad about his past decision. Well, at least I don't think so.
So if you were in those who supports seat, you wouldn't treat you wouldn't unban Cookies or something along those lines.
I would definitely try to get more info on his his position on the subject. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would try to talk with him more in order to get more
Actually,
info.
do you know the rumor that Cookies and Peppy met the day before Cookies has unbanned?
Yeah,
Pepe posted a picture to his Twitter where
yeah,
he is doing a selfie with someone, and he said that he wanted his face hidden, and so the face is
yeah,
hidden, and a lot of people are arguing that it was Cookies because well, Cookies was unbanned the next day. So
yeah,
imagining that Pepe did actually meet Cookies, well, they do live nearby. That's a fact because Toy, when he met Cookies during OVC, also was planning to visit Pepe's office. Do you
all
think
right.
so? Now you have this information. So maybe I'm not sure. Maybe Pepe actually met Cookies to discuss this stuff. So that probably is something that consistent with what you would do, right?
Yeah,
Would
yeah,
you meet Cookies and discuss it, for example? And maybe imagining a bit more if you actually met Cookies as an also support member trying to get
yeah.
him unbanned, what would you tell him or what would you ask?
Well, first I would ask like what has changed like between him now and the him that cheated. So
Mm-hmm.
to definitely more to have more info about how he like about how like his past decision, you know, about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, probably enough for this question. Do we have? Yeah, we have another. Oh, this one is not that broad. So what is generally your opinion on the current appealing process? So like when you write this long letter, when you answer the specific questions, do you think that 6 months is an optimal waiting period? Do you believe that actually unbans are fair and unbiased, or you don't?
Well, first I would say I believe that 6 months is really too much because like especially when you know you can be falsely restricted and not be able to contact the staff in any other way. This is why, as I've mentioned previously, that the support that if the support was more accessible to the community, and if Pepe got a little more involved for like controversial cases, like he did for mine, for example, maybe 6 months could be ideal. But for now, like there are too many weak points in the system, which keeps it from having a good success rate, fortunately. So yeah, I would think like 1 or 2 months for an appeal seems it would seem more reasonable at the moment.
That's actually something that Ripple does. If I remember correctly,
Really?
Ripple has 1 month of restriction. So like, if you get restricted for a multi-account or cheating, you can appeal in a couple of months. So you think that's better, right?
Yep, definitely.
Actually, if no, not really. So here I also would like to add the question concerning denying the appeal. So you might know that sometimes also support does not actually unban you at all. For example, most of the times that happens when you created multi-accounts and cheated on that multi-accounts.
Yeah.
What would be your comment on in what cases do you think also support really should ban appeal at all? Do you think that it serves any practical purpose? Because, well, what a person who was denied an appeal is going to do, probably create more multi-acts, right? So
Yeah.
what would be your opinion on that in general?
Well, I mean the appeal system by itself is I don't really agree with it because like if people really like cheated to get banned, like cheated and then got banned, they would just create more accounts and there would be like a cycle going on, you know. So I don't really know if the appeal system itself is really useful in this situation.
Yeah, but you understand that you can't be really unbanning cheaters just by click of a button because it's going to serve worse in the long run.
Yeah.
Sometimes you probably have to keep some guys out of the community, for example.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's still probably a valid option, but yeah, it's not so trivial. Probably the problem with this stuff is more connected to the fact that the current appeal process in general is a bit flawed. So do you have any kind of like idea besides the improved interaction? Do you have any kind of idea how the process could be changed, modified in order to improve? Maybe some kind of specific
Well, as I've mentioned earlier, like maybe creating a staff ELC chat will solve some problems. But other than that, I don't have any ideas.
Okay, but what about, for example, the application form that you have to fill in when appealing? Do you think like that's sufficient? Do you actually like know what questions are there? I can remind you if you don't. So
I don't know them by heart.
I can just, well, we can discuss them. I remember that the questions are firstly, do you know what you were restricted for? Then tell us what you did wrong. Tell us why can we be sure that you'll never do that again? And something similar to that. How, like, I mean, yeah, there are two main questions. You are told to say everything bad that you did, and you are asked, how can we be sure that you will never break the rules after being in OSU again? So do you think it's enough? Do you think maybe something else should be added in order to make the form more informative, so you can have more information when dealing with a case?
Well, I don't really think the question like how can we be sure that that you that you aren't going to cheat again is really useful. I'm not really sure about that. Like I how are players supposed to answer to that?
Well,
I feel like their answer doesn't matter actually.
well, you see, I think you are a bit wrong here, because this is a bit a projection of how real world works. For example, when you apply to a real job, sometimes you are asked, why do you think you are the best candidate for this position?
Yeah.
So do you think that's
Yeah, I
also,
see.
do you think that's also a really poor question that is used by the employers, or maybe you can rethink your attitude towards what purpose does this question actually serve?
Well, I feel like it's just my opinion, but I feel like this question is really just to test your ability to defend yourself. You know. Yeah.
Okay,
Overall.
so maybe like you or people in the chat will have something to think about in this context as well.
All right.
So the next question, is it actually like, this is like the last question that we have from the official scenario. Do you have close also friends who cheated and were banned? Either they cheated to get good scores or rank up, or out of frustration. Like, do you have these close also friends who are actually cheaters, and does their cheating anyhow interact, like how do you interact with your friends who are cheaters, if there are any?
Well, I don't have any friends who are cheaters, but if you want a concrete case, you can Google "Osu don't cheat." There will be a video by a certain, I think, Riddleton, and like he explains how he got banned. It's basically him telling like he cheated out of frustration because he kept one missing a map, and yeah, yeah.
What a
I think
joke.
it's really good thing to watch the video.
So is is he giving a message that you shouldn't really be doing that, or it just a
Well,
story of him?
like he talks about his case and also how you shouldn't actually cheat in the game
Uh-huh.
because it's
So,
it's
okay,
just useless.
is he unbanned or banned or what? In what?
I I didn't check actually. I don't think he is.
Did he file an appeal at all, or how long ago did that happen even?
Let me check.
Okay, while you're checking this, still, like this is like the final point of the interview, guys. So if you have any kind of questions, obviously, I would prefer questions related to the topics we discussed earlier. If you have any kind of questions on that, you can write them in chat, and well, we'll do our best to maybe provide more info. And after that, we are just going to wrap up. So,
Well, the video was posted a year ago, so I guess since I don't see any more info on this, I don't think he got banned. Unfortunately.
well, maybe he didn't. I was certain that he
Yeah,
filed an
maybe he
appeal.
didn't even appeal. Yeah.
What's his nickname for reference?
Riddleton.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'll type in the chat.
Okay, so I actually don't see. I don't see like valid questions, but there's a troll question from one of Russian guys, so maybe I'll just read it. He asks me to ask you, how can you learn to mash masterpiece DT without actually reading at all and just doing circular movements with your cursor? And, this is like no. And why doesn't anyone else is able to pull that off? That's his question.
Well, if you're talking about a video on my channel where I see the square part, it's really luck. I got that on first try, I think, and I don't think I would be able to replicate it. I'm not consistent on doing this.
Okay,
So
well,
yeah,
I guess there's really no certain. Well, you can also you can there is a question, like a general question that I see in my chat is, you're being currently like top tier French player. What is your opinion about other really good French players like the Pun, Mastinero, Conan, etc.? And probably, like, do you personally admire like some of these players? Maybe you could like just have a little comment on that.
Well, I think the top French USU players are really like polyvalent. Like Vipun and Nero are have really good aim. Musti has really good hack, and Cannon is more like speed based. So yeah, those are really good players. I
Another question I would like to add here
oh
is there, like, as you live in France and you are
yeah.
closer to French community than we are here, do you expect, like, is there a French player who you know been really good and maybe fast improving that is not yet known worldwide? Do you have such a player in mind?
Yeah, actually, I have a player named Bad Monsters. He is really good in like AR11. Not really not necessarily like 6 or 7 stars, but he is really good at reading high AR. So yeah, we should definitely look up to him in the near future.
So he is going your path.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, hopefully we will see another AR11 prodigy. That's actually really interesting. Would you agree with me on the statement that we often see similar play styles within a single country? For example, some time ago, I saw that every top tier German player was a HDHR AC player, or maybe like some countries famous for DT players. Like, I'm not actually sure, but I just remember this stuff about German. And do you think that might be the case, that when a top player from your country plays a specific mod combination, you try to learn it also because you look up to this specific player?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So maybe people will. So what would actually, like, this is another kind of question. So probably a lot of French also players are looking up to you in that case, because you are like the best in your country. Is there any kind of advice you would like to give them
For
generally
like
for playing, for getting better, or maybe for enjoying the game or something? Any kind of advice?
Well, I feel like if you like, I feel like skill in Osu is really irregular, at least for me. So if one day you keep one missing a song or something like that, you shouldn't like blame yourself or get frustrated out of it, because you definitely know you can do this, and I think it's the most important thing. And as for AR11, I would say it is just training. So. It's just to spam AR11 maps and hope for the best.
Okay, well, I actually think that we have discussed everything that I wanted. I think it was really fun. So thanks again
Awesome.
for having
Thank
this
you
discussion.
for interviewing me.
I think we brought
No
up
problem.
a number of interesting topics. So probably going to wrap up the stream. So you can say goodbye to the chat and stuff.
Okay, bye everybody.
Yeah. Как там? Stay cool and don't cheat, guys.